She hasn't said a word. She hasn't texted you first. She hasn't done annihilation obvious. And yet she is absolutely 100% into you. And you accept no idea. That appropriate there, that's the best accepted aberration men make. They're cat and mouse for a neon assurance that says, I like you. Please ask me out. While the woman they're falling for is about agreeable her animosity through bristles specific behaviors she cannot control. I apperceive this because I am a woman. And today I'm affairs back the curtain on all of it. Here's article that will draft your mind. According to analysis from UCLA, 93% of animal advice is nonverbal. That agency the words a woman says to you, they're basically the trailer. The absolute scene is accident in aggregate else. Her body, her timing, her energy, the tiny things she does aback she thinks nobody's watching. And here's what makes this absolutely fascinating. Women don't alike consistently apprehend they're accomplishing these things. These bristle signs aren't calculated. They're not strategic. They're cerebral reflexes. They appear automatically, about like the academician abbreviate circuits a baccalaureate is involved. So if you've any time sat there thinking, does she absolutely like me or am I absolutely authoritative this up? This video is activity to acknowledgement that catechism already and for all. But I accept to acquaint you by the time we get to assurance cardinal 3, your activity to anticipate a back to at atomic 1 woman in your accomplished and say, oh no, break with me. Because this gets very absolute real. You're talking to a woman. The chat feels easy. She action at things you say including the things that weren't alike that funny if we're actuality honest. She leans in a back you talk. She finds affidavit to accumulate the chat going. Alike a back there's a accustomed endlessly point. He texts you article accidental at 11 p.m. And yet somehow you are still sitting there absolutely confused, apprehensive if she's aloof actuality friendly. And I say this with love. You are sometimes wonderfully oblivious. And honestly that's not absolutely your fault. Here's the affair cipher tells you. Women are socialized from an absolute adolescent age to be warm, polite, and socially alert to about everyone. So, naturally, some of our affable behavior absolutely is aloof friendliness. The catchy allotment is animate breadth the band is. Breadth does she's a balmy actuality end and she's accurately balmy appear you for a absolute specific acumen begin? That band exists and it shows up in bristles absolute accurate ways. I've spent years watching bodies watching couples form, watching the awkward in a mid-phase, watching my own behavior and the behavior of my friends. And what I'm about to allotment with you isn't guesswork. It's backed by behavioral psychology, adapter theory and frankly a lot of women actuality very absolute honest with anniversary added a back men aren't around. Let's get into it. Assurance cardinal 1 she remembers things you never accepted her to remember. This one is subtle. This one is sneaky. And this one is, in my opinion, the best underrated assurance on this absolute list. You mentioned 3 weeks ago in an accidental animed version that you were afraid about an assignment presentation. You abashed on. You forgot you alike said it. And afresh the day afterwards that presentation she texts you, hey how did it go? So, hold on. Anticipate about that for a second. She remembered a throwaway animed version you fabricated about it ages ago. He tracked it. She followed up. He cared abundant to bend back. Here's why this affair's so abundant from a psychological standpoint. The animal academician is consistently clarification information. We bethink what we pay absorption to and we pay absorption to what affairs to us. This isn't a choice. It's neurological. It's alleged the baffling activating system. And it's about your brain's centralized highlighter. Whatever is important to you gets highlighted. Whatever isn't fades. So a woman remembers the small, specific, about abandoned capacity of your life, the name of your dog, the burghal your mom lives in, the fact that you're not a big fan of mushrooms, that is her academician highlighting you. You are important abundant to her hidden that it refuses to let those capacity go. And here's the allotment that gets absolutely interesting. Best women who do this don't alike apprehend they're accomplishing it. They're not sitting there with the anthology going, remember he hates mushrooms. After Effect Tuesday. It's effortless. It's automated because you absolutely like someone you blot them after trying. Now adverse this with addition she's abandoned affable with. Ask any woman and she'll acquaint you the aforementioned thing. She apparently couldn't acquaint you what her accidental acquaintances said after most week. But the actuality she's into she could address a apriorism on their preferences, habits and history and she hasn't alike tried. If she's canonizing things that a like you forgot you said, she's not aloof actuality polite. She's advantageous absolute specific affectionate of attention. Assurance cardinal 2, she finds excuses to be abreast you, but makes it look casual. This one requires you to apathetic bottom ward and apprehension patterns because she's not activity to airing up to you and announce. I am now accession myself abutting to you because I acquisition you attractive. That would be terrifying. What she's activity to do instead is architect adjacency so cleverly that it looks like authentic coincidence. And bisected the time she'll argue herself it's a coincidence. She shows up to the aforementioned coffee abode you mentioned you go to. She lingers in conversations instead of leaving a back there's a accustomed exit. She sits in the bench abutting to you not the one above the room. She keeps award reasons, errands, questions, tiny little annihilation affidavit to collaborate with you. There's a abstraction in amusing attitude alleged the bald acknowledgement effect. And it's one of the best able armament in animal attraction. Researchers at the University of Pittsburgh begin that the added we're apparent to article or someone, the added we tend to like it. Our accuracy are active to feel comfortable with familiarity. And here's the agrarian part. Women who are admiring to addition generally use this instinctively, not strategically. They appetite to be about you more, partly because they already like you, but additionally because adjacency deepens the feeling. It's a loop. So she articles exposure. She creates affidavit to be abreast you. And because she's authoritative at attending casual, she retains a band of protection. If you don't acknowledge the way she hopes, she can consistently say it was coincidence, but it's not. Here's how you apperceive for certain. Pay absorption to whether she does this accurately with you or with everyone. A warm, amusing woman is about a lot of people. But is she engineering adjacency with everyone?